Greetings. Sorry I wasn't able to get my hair and makeup done. Basically, this is going to be kind of a different video because I am in my garage and all the stuff you see behind me, all these boxes, these are all filled with CDs. When we moved here to Sacramento about 3 years ago, I was able to pull all the stuff that I wanted on my shelves because I had limited shelf space, and then leave stuff in the garage to go through later. Now here it is 3 years later, and I'm finally going to go through it because it's quarantine time, and so I moved the car out of the garage, and now I'm going to start going through these boxes, and I'm going to show you not really the process, but I'll show you some of the stuff that I found. Since I can't go record shopping, or CD shopping actually, I'm going to be able to maybe pretend I'm going CD shopping and see if I can find some gems, maybe things that you might want, maybe things to enjoy again over and over again and again and again. So please come on this journey with me. Now, right now I'm going to talk about some CDs that I found in my collection that were actually my own CDs that I created from vinyl. I transferred vinyl to digital. I clean up all the pops and clicks, and then I'd burn CDRs of them. And it was just a lot of fun. I mean, right now I make videos and I write reviews and I have radio shows. Back then I didn't have all that, so I would basically spend a lot of time transfer this vinyl to digital because I wanted to play it in my car. And that's really what it's all about. So I would do the burning, and if somebody did the artwork, they would get a copy. And if somebody bought a single to add a B-side, then I would give that person a copy. And, you know, so just like the 4 or 5 of us were really involved in having a great time with it. But we never released them, never sold them. It was just a fun hobby because obviously I'm not the type to go out and play Frisbee or anything like that. So this was just a fun thing to do. So I'm going to show you just some of the titles. When I would transfer these records, it was just reliving my youth, and it was a really, really great time. Now, let's get into the vinyl to digital to CDR. Going to start off with a stomper with a little sad note. James Intveld and the Rockin' Shadows. Of course, James and Rick Intveld were my friends and stuff. I started doing a bunch of vinyl 7 inches. There's like The Last and Fred Blasey and Lopez Beatles. There's a John Hyatt single that had a non-album B-side. But anyway, here are the albums that a lot of these are part of the Obscure 80s series. So if you look at that Obscure 80s right there, we're going to start off with Horizontal Brian, fantastic. Modern Eon, this is the Modern Eon album plus bonus tracks. Exhibit B, here's Martin Mull album. Now, this is not the album cover, but John Hunter put out 2 albums. But one of the inner sleeves was so awesomely great, we decided to put that as the picture sleeve. But he used to be in a band called Hounds, and this has both of his albums on it there. Sore Throat was the name of a British band. It's certainly not the punk band. Sneakers, a band I believe from maybe Portland. They had a great song called Girls. The Dads was a great band, kind of new wave with a commercial sheen. Brian Harvey was a member of the band. He eventually formed House of Freaks. Sorrows, this has both their albums, Teenage Heartbreak and Love Too Late. The Electrics has their A State of Shock and Current Events album on one disc. Great, great, great band. Another great band, power pop. The Scooters, this has Young Girls and Blue Eyes, both on one disc, plus a bonus B-side called Clara that was only a B-side. Any Trouble, the only album that has never come out on CD, and that has bonus tracks. Dial M, this has 2 albums on it, Dial M and For a Good Time. The Reels, an Australian band, this I don't think has been officially released on CD. Now, what we would do is if there was like a Reels best of and it had like 3 songs from this album, I would take those 3 songs from CD and do the other 10 songs from vinyl. So you'd still get CD quality on whatever was already available on CD. The Rivets, Mark Anthony Thompson, OK Jive, The Thought, and that has 2 albums on it there. My brother and I used to always laugh because my mom used to always play this album in the early 70s by a duo called Hod and Mark that nobody else knew. So one day I found the album, and just for my mom, just for the pure love of it, I transfer the Hod and Mark album for her. I got a couple different Joe King Carrasco. These albums have not been officially released on CD, but most of the tracks have been on compilations. So I took the tracks that were on CD, added some from vinyl, and created that. Same thing with this. Took some songs from CD and created that. Bunch of bonus tracks there. Crazy band called Those French Girls. Keyboard player for Those French Girls was a gentleman by the name of Neil Innes, and is not that Neil Innes. Coconut Rough, a great New Zealand band. Sounds like later period Split Enz. And Phil Judd did the cover art, and great band. The Dubious Brothers, great band name. Another Dubious Brothers. Raise the Dragon became Intimate Strangers, so both of those are on there. Everybody remembers the Stray Cats, but do you remember Phantom Rocker and Slick? That's the self-titled album and the CoverGirl album. And then finally, the last in this video is a great power pop band who recently reunited, and everybody loves them now. But this is Yipes, and this has both their albums on one disc. Anyway, I got a stack of these things here. This is just the stuff that we personally made. Like I said, don't expect to find any in the stores because we did not sell them. So these are not for sale. So anyway, that's it. Thank you very much for watching this episode. I really appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel, maybe like, comment, share. Until the next time, remember me, I'm Steve SCHNEE, the CD Junkie.